Congratulations! Your choice of a Motorola wireless fence will provide years of freedom and enjoyment for both you and your dog. The goal of this training video is to help you teach your dog to identify and retreat from the yard boundaries to the safety of your yard. Make sure to keep the training lesson short, 10 minutes per session, and fun for both you and your dog. You'll need a standard nylon or leather collar and 6-foot leash. Do not attach a leash directly to the fence collar strap. Completely trusting your dog with the boundaries will take place over the course of about 4 weeks. But don't worry, the actual training is a small part of this time. The rest is spent closely monitoring your dog. For total success, it's important to complete the entire course. It's much more difficult to retrace your steps in the training process once you've identified that there may be a problem. So take your time through each one of the training steps. The typical training session includes putting on the electronic collar, making sure that the collar has the proper fit high on the dog's neck and is making contact with the skin with 2 fingers between the dog's collar strap and neck. Start every session playing with a favorite toy, treats, and plenty of praise within close proximity to the yard flags. Make sure your dog is comfortable and having fun. Do boundary training at locations around the entire boundary of your yard. Always end sessions on a high note with more play, praise, and treats near the boundary flags. Before you start to train, make sure the electronic training collar is fully charged and the static stimulation level is set to 1, the tone-only training level. This is to ensure that your dog can hear the warning tone at the boundary, but there is no chance of correction during this phase of the training. Put the electronic training collar on your dog and make sure the wireless fence transmitter is turned on. You should have already set your boundary and planted the yard marker flags. The first lesson is to introduce your dog to the boundary and to help her understand to retreat to the safe part of the yard when the warning tone is heard. With your dog on a lead, casually walk to the boundary. When the dog reaches the signal field, immediately spin around and briskly jog back into the yard. The dog will feel the tug and run after you. Praise enthusiastically. On days 2 and 3, repeat the same lesson at different locations in the yard. As the training sessions of these 3 days progress, you'll see that your dog will start to anticipate the signal and retreat without your prompting. Day 3 is successful if your dog retreats without your prompting and refuses to approach the boundary as you approach. For each successful attempt, be sure to praise and offer a favorite treat. Although your dog is learning fast and avoiding the boundary, she will forget or attempt to break the rules with an interesting distraction beyond your yard. To prevent this, your dog must understand that there are consequences for doing so. ShockwaveSound.com. For the next lesson, set the system stimulation level to match your dog's personality, lower levels for timid dogs and higher levels for difficult to train dogs. With your dog still on a lead, walk to the boundary with your dog and a helper. The helper should continue to walk through the boundary. Should the dog try to follow, she will receive a correction from the collar. Immediately retreat to the safe part of the yard and give a treat and plenty of praise. The static correction is harmless. However, it is startling and something your dog will soon learn to avoid. Please note, it's very important that your helper not stop, look back, or acknowledge the dog in any way. Continue this lesson at a number of different areas around the boundary. If your dog is avoiding the boundary, with the helper moving freely in and out of the area, you are ready to add more tempting distractions. Remember, never pull or coax your dog into the boundary area. This lesson teaches your dog that she must resist all temptations to leave the yard. Dogs will not automatically connect the lessons learned with one distraction to another. So, you can't assume that if your dog won't chase a ball out of the yard, she won't chase a bicycle or a favorite neighbor. You have to go through a list of distractions that will tempt your dog and prove each one before proceeding to the next. Before long, your dog will connect the dots. Don't leave the yard for bikes, neighbors, bouncing balls, or moving cars means don't leave the yard for any reason. Your training has been successful at this point if your dog has resisted the urge to cross the boundary on lead with any distraction you can dream up. You're ready for lesson 4. After several sessions of distractions, your dog should be ready for off-lead play. You must stay in the yard for off-lead training. In fact, It's wise to spend more quality time in the yard with your dog. The more your dog stays on the property for the first month, the less chance of your dog ever attempting to leave the area. Continue to supervise and play with your dog outside for a period of 1 week. When your dog resists all manner of distractions, both on and off the lead, he can be left unattended in the yard. Keep a close eye on your dog for 2 weeks from inside the house. This freedom should be brief at first and the amount of time increased gradually. Before and after each unsupervised session, you must continue the play, praise, and treat routine to continue to reinforce that the yard is a happy, fun, and safe place to be. After 2 weeks of successful containment, you can begin removing the flags. Start by removing every other flag every other day until all of the flags are gone. It's essential that you observe whether your off-lead, unsupervised dog still avoids and retreats from the unmarked boundary. If your dog's response is anything but immediate, retrace your steps through the training process. We hope these training sessions are productive and fun for you and your dog. The Motorola wireless fence will help you create a safe, enjoyable outdoor environment for your dog and provide peace of mind for you as a responsible pet owner.